Hi, I'm Kelly Chase and this is History Detective, and today I'm going to introduce you to the man who made it onto the $10 note, a man with a musical instrument for a name and who, among other things, is famed for writing the unofficial anthem of Australia, Banjo Paterson. Banjo was not his real name. He was born Andrew Barton Paterson. When he began writing for the Bulletin as a journalist, he started to use the pen name Banjo, and he adopted that name because his family owned a racehorse called the Banjo. Banjo, the man, not the horse, was born in 1864, which is interesting because out of the 9 faces that appear on the currency, 5 of them were born in the 1860s. The first time I heard about Banjo Paterson was a children's book made from his poem Mulga Bill's Bicycle. Then there was the classic 1982 The Man from Snowy River movie that was based on his poem of the same name. That scene where Jim rides his horse down a seemingly vertical mountainside is etched in my memory. In his lifetime, Banjo Paterson was a poet, novelist, a war correspondent for the Boer War, and then, in the First World War, he was in his 50s and he served as an ambulance driver, an army vet, and eventually as a captain. In his younger years, he was also a bit of a sportsman, playing tennis and rowing, and because of his horsemanship, he was an excellent polo player. But what I would like to talk to you about today is that famed song, the surprisingly morbid ballad that is about a sheep-stealing wanderer that somehow speaks to the heart of the Aussie battler in us all. The poem Waltzing Matilda was first written in 1895, but to be honest, it was a bit of a slow burn. 3 years later, the newspapers would still have articles that explain the Aussie slang used. The Swagman, or tramp, of Australia is an independent individual. His home is on the plain beside the waterhole or billabong. He is indifferent to the higher influences of civilization. He carries his swag and waltzes Matilda, as he terms his water bag, with ease and grace. The Adelaide Observer somewhat unhelpfully explained that waltzing Matilda means the same thing as humping Bluey. Goodness, I'm not sure that clarifies anything. By 1901, the year of Federation, a Rockhampton newspaper reported, "A bush poem entitled Waltzing Matilda is all the rage here just now." If you are not familiar with the song Waltzing Matilda, here's a plot summary. It is the story of a tramp making a cup of tea on an outdoor fire by a waterhole. A sheep comes by for a drink, and so he takes the opportunity to steal the sheep. The farmer and mounted police turn up, and so he jumps into the waterhole to escape, but instead drowns. His ghost haunts the waterhole. However, the song is reported to have a much deeper inspiration. You see, in the 1890s, there was a lot of trouble between the sheep shearers and the pastoralists. In 1890, in a story about a sheep shearers' union, a newspaper reported that the invention of a new technology threatened the jobs of skilled sheep shearers. But now, with the aid of machinery, anyone with only the slightest practice can remove the wool from the sheep's back. Sounds a bit like the conversations we're having around AI at the moment. These sheep shearing tensions came to a head in 1894 at a place called Dagworth in Western Queensland. According to the Truth newspaper, one woolshed was burned down and unionists fired shots at another woolshed whereby the owners replied to the shots. I'm assuming they replied to the bullets with bullets of their own. The newspaper appears to be very anti-unionist and reports on the shearer's death as follows. The next morning, the body of a man named Hofmeister, a prominent union agitator, was found about 2 miles from Kairuna. Hofmeister was quite dead when he was found. A magisterial inquiry into the death found that Samuel Hofmeister, originally a Dutch South African, did indeed take his own life by shooting himself with his Martini sports rifle. Other unionists who were present at the woolshed attack testified to say that Frenchie, as he was called, was decidedly queer or balmy. Back then, queer meant odd, and balmy is an old Australian slang word for eccentric. They also said that that evening, Frenchie had screwed up a letter and thrown it into the lit fire before mumbling something and walking off into the night. That is the last that they saw of him. There's also another story from a town called Dagworth that is said to have inspired the poem. 5 years earlier in 1890, there was another horse-riding swagman called Burke, who was quite well known to police. One day, a station owner found Burke's horse near a waterhole, but Burke was nowhere to be found. 6 months later, when the water levels dropped, they found Burke's body. His foot was caught in the roots of a coolabah tree, and he had drowned. Our poet, Banjo Paterson, came to stay at the Dagworth station a few months after the Union Troubles and the death of Hofmeister. So Banjo seems to have taken a bit of artistic license and pieced together 2 of these local stories and crafted them into the ballad of Waltzing Matilda. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and if you would like links to teaching resources or a list of references, you'll find a link to my website in the description below. This is Kelly Chase, On The Case. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this video is being recorded today. I pay my respects to the elders and knowledge holders, past, present and emerging.